Good afternoon to all the sales fraternity in Nepal, Kathmandu. I'm so
Okay.
glad I cannot tell you how can I should I describe it.
Yes, sir.
This is
Sir,
a voice.
okay. So okay. So welcome to our first session. So it's a session by Mr. K.M. Ali. So he will be presenting on how define and elevate your sales strategy in crisis. He will specially narrate his experience on how you can continue to increase revenue through unique selling techniques in the challenges posed by COVID-19. So he will be talking about the new sales strategies to adopt in new normal business world that would uplift the exciting sales strategies, the new technical selling points for sales, and the sales roadmap with steps to accelerate revenue grow. Basically, those challenges compounded by disruption created by COVID-19. So, talking about Mr. Qiyam Ali, he's a CEO and lead consultant at Space Business Consulting Services, areas of specialization, FMCG, tobacco and foods, building material, durables, consumer electronics plus furniture, power, construction, cables, logistics, chemicals, and ITC, cargo, and real estate. So, welcome, Mr. Ali. You can start your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Arti. Actually, the way you are describing my domains, it is endless. People should get crazy, when they hear so many domains that I have operated in. Actually, I am a 40-year-old veteran in the sales industry in Bangladesh. Started my career in British American Tobacco. Continued there for 15 years. Thereafter, I worked as the CEO, group CEO in many groups in Bangladesh. Actually, all my life, I remained a farm character that is sales. And I invite my sales fraternity in Nepal who are with me. I'm so delighted to be able to talk to them today. And I thank the organizer, Growth Sellers, Kathmandu, Nepal. When it comes to deal with these salespeople, I am talking about a very different breed altogether because I just compare them with eagle. When every bird goes into the nest during a storm, only sales eagle comes out. They take the challenge. So whether it is rain, whether it is sunshine, whether it is COVID, whether it is non-COVID, doesn't matter. You will still belong to salespeople. And when you read John Milton's Paradise Lost, when Satan was thrown out of heaven into the hell, burning fire, burning inferno, the first thing that he mentioned is all is not lost. All is not lost. I can see the current wave of people. They are always lamenting their lots. Oh my God, what should I do? What should I do? But I can tell you, during this period, I have doubled my sales in whatever segment I'm operating. So doesn't matter what are you selling. Don't forget that you are very much a salesperson. That is how I start. My today's session, I'm going to talk about the roadmap and many things that you have just mentioned. So let me go to the next slide. This is something challenge the change, breaking down the barriers. Now, everybody takes a particular word in a very different way. They have very different connotations. For a salesperson, challenge is the name of the game. Challenge is not something that is intimidating for them. Challenge is the most loved word for a salesperson. Challenge. I will explain to you what do I mean by it. Like at the beginning, I must tell you about the objective of today's session that Arti has mentioned clearly. Offer sales roadmap, tools and techniques with steps to accelerate revenue growth against challenges compounded by COVID-19 disruptions. What is our target actually? Our target is to move to the next level. This next level is a pretty diplomatic term. Next level is always a very diplomatic term. What do you mean by next level? It is after 2 years, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or immediately after the COVID. I will explain that. So key discussion areas that I will cover is elevate sales strategies in crisis, redefine sales. The new sales strategies to adopt in new normal business world that would uplift the existing sales strategies. The new unique selling point for sales, a sales roadmap with steps to accelerate revenue growth, basically those challenges compounded by the disruption created by COVID-19. Now, as Barack Obama came to power, he mentioned, change we need. Change we need. But he did not explain what kind of change he is thinking. So that is only a proposition which needs an explanation. So I am here to give you that explanation. Proposition is challenge the change, breaking down the barriers. Explanation, it has got 4 words: challenge, change, breaking, and barriers. 4 words. What does it mean to me? Challenge, to me as a salesperson, out and out a salesperson, challenge is basically essential part of a salesperson's role profile. For any salesperson, if you do not have challenge, you do not have much to follow. You do not have much to celebrate. You do not have much to enjoy. COVID here is a challenge of Himalayan dimension, whether temporary or permanent needs to be seen. An irresistible challenge is the biggest motivator for a salesperson. The challenge here is not equal for all because it depends on interpretation. Find both restorative, exploitative, and explorative ways and means for the next level. The next level are survival, exploiting current opportunities, and then exploring, of course, growth. These are 3 parts. Survival first. I need to survive first. Then I have to exploit the current opportunities, whatever opportunities are there, because there is always a silver lining in the crowd. It all depends how you look at it. And then explore growth. Also, current sales practices needs to be calibrated against best global practices for post-COVID applications. Relevance is the key. A CEO was asked, what is just one word that you describe yourself? I said, it is relevance. You can do a lot of fantastic things, doesn't matter. If you are not relevant to the market, if you are not relevant to the consumer, if you are not relevant to the customer, you don't do anything. Then change. Change is the only constant, but context matters. We are very poor in interpreting context. We do not know how to actually break down the context. Context interpretation requires mastery, and COVID itself is a symbol of complex context. And I will explain what is complex and what is complexity. Breaking, yes, for any leader, whether sales or anybody, needs brain power of David, not just muscle power of Goliath to break. You need the power of brain. We have to use our brain, not just muscle. The tactics so employed need to be a giant killer, like David did. A sales leader breaks and builds simultaneously. Simultaneously, he does both the things. This is not just about complexity, it is rather complex. Barriers, something difficult or impossible, but not truly impossible if good enough strategy involving salesperson's power differential and CEO level leadership is there to find the answer. One thing I must make it very careful. This is no ordinary situation. For a right kind of interpretation, you need an X type of persona like the CEO, because he has in his head all the answers. But a salesperson is just one dimensional. You have to get the help from the CEO for a proper interpretation and explanation of the situation, whether it is a barrier or challenge, whatever. Complexity and complex, I am explaining. Complexity, like an aeroplane, it takes off, flies, and then lands. Quite a lot of internal activities, very complicated. But it is interconnected, follow patterned ways, have many moving parts, and predictable outcome. Mind you, predictable outcome, complexity. But when it comes to complexity beyond comprehension, systems interact in unexpected ways and unpredictable outcomes. You do not have any control on the outcomes of the complex situation. So COVID here, the whole world came to a single platform, still highly confused. They don't know what to do. They don't have the answer in their hand. In a way, it is a very, very complex problem. Now, I have got fairly long challenge catalog for you. It's not just one or two lines. Just listen, please. High incidence of mortality, almost 5 million all over the world. Work from home, now already Zoom fatigue is there. Minimum commuting, office and face-to-face meeting. Massive economic disruption, lockdown effect. Twin threats, life and livelihood. High death environment. Informal workforce suffers the highest. Tourism and civil aviation, other big casualties. In Nepal especially, this is very important. We have got almost 3.5 people working abroad. Sharp drop in revenue stream, almost in all industries. Rise of e-commerce, but cannot meet dimensional pressure. Slowdown in retail, capital items and financial services. Happy times for a few industries, of course, including packaged food, exports, IT, agro, and health services. Cost cutting, containment, retrenchment of employees, random. Investment, momentum slowed down. Threat of Delta variants, even deadlier version. Confused, indecisive leadership. Advent of vaccine is the best news so far. Situation indicating near pre-COVID normal in Bangladesh. Same expected in Nepal soon. Now, I am going to give a short analysis of the domain-specific negative impact. At least in Bangladesh, this has happened. I'm sure the same has happened in. I'm sure the same has happened. I'm sure the same has happened in Nepal also. First of all, B2C, that is retailer, the impact is very high because of long lockdown periods. Then you have got B2B, that is medium, they have suffered less. B2B, you also find a lot of superstores and everything. Those are open actually. So many companies could do a lot of business there. B2G, least affected. Government has their own money, no problem. If you know how to get it, you can get it. Capital products suffered a lot. Many industries, manufacturing industries couldn't operate due to raw materials, due to experts non-availability, etc. And financial services, very high, but I must not have any sympathy for the financial segment, because a lot of their own difficulties, troubles, problems are created by their own. The financial services company, they operate in a very safe and secured environment. How come that they kept their financial offices, banks closed day after day, month after month, shortening the working hours, actually squeezing the lifeline of the economy? That was something I didn't find much thought about. That much thought went into it, neither from the government nor from the banking authorities. It was a case of very sad omission. It was a very sad case of commission for both this government and also the banking authorities, because they could create a kind of compensating factor for the other industries, which they did not do. They played safe, they didn't make their hands dirty, they should have taken risk because they are the most minimum exposed to the risky environment of death. Now, what are our learnings? Let me just tell you our learnings. What are our learnings? In severe economic recessions, some companies gain advantages while others suffer the most. As the crisis deepens, innovative intervention is a must to keep revenue streaming unaffected. You have to take it as a holy task that revenue must not be allowed to suffer at any cost. You need a very strong will to protect that, but I have not seen much that kind of a thing. I have done it myself in my case. An X-ray personality like CEO is a must for planning and execution. It needs a very different skill which you don't find in a salesperson's head. It's not possible. A resilient thought frame among sales professionals is the key. Crisis produces not just a few temporary changes, also some permanent ones. Needs fast adaptations, virtual, physical, hybrid combination, if necessary, flexibility and speed matters. As the crisis disappears, the age-old habits and preferences revert back in Oriental culture in a flash. Get ready to return fast, please. Bangladesh has already returned. In Oriental environment, we are slow in adaptations. Now, we have got three choices left. First of all is the survival. Remember the dinosaur thing. You have to be exploitative and context-based. You try to survive fast. That is priority number one. Once you are okay with that, go for the restorative part. Get things in order. Back to place. Stabilization. Exploitation. Recovery in key priority areas first. Key priority areas, not in all areas. You cannot do that. Exploit whatever opportunities are there. There is always a silver lining in the cloud. That you have to believe very firmly. Generative, growth-based, optimization and growth-based. Take the long-term strategic shift. Eventually, you have to take that long view. You just cannot sit back on the lap of COVID-19. Now, you have to create a roadmap for the virtuous cycle for the transition. You have to reassess the sectoral sales growth opportunities, reconfigure creatively business models and adjust. This is one very, very important part I am talking about, business modeling. You can go on adding number, people after people, product after product. Still, I can tell you that you can bet that you will fail to get your sales. Unless you have thought something very different about your business modeling. If you can sell it to 5 hands, please sell through 5 hands, because your customer doesn't have the capacity to buy everything from one person. You have to understand the limitation of a customer. A customer cannot buy 100 things from one seller. So you have to go for this business modeling. You have to go for different segments and then sell it to many, many hands, many, many sales leaders. not just one. Reallocate sales force with gradual productivity progression target. Like you say, you have got 100 people. Some of them are doing 1 million taka, 1 million rupee. Others are doing 0.5 million. Some are doing 0.3 million. Why not create a standard? Tell those people in 3 months' time or 6 months' time, you guys must come to that level. I want to see a definite improvement in your sales productivity. Don't just sit back on the kind of sale that you are doing for month after month. This is not acceptable. You have to enhance your numbers, come to a level, and then this from a below average situation, you must come to an above average situation. So that when I go for the multiplication, when I go for the equation, I get a huge number at the end of the day. Then e-commerce. E-commerce is more a fashion. I can see that. Now it is being marked by a lot of fraud and everything. But in corporate sales, it matters. It helps. Management in B2B, trade marketing as the new standards. Now, trade marketing, I don't know. Trade marketing is a term, whether it is being used in Nepal. This is a question from me. Can anybody answer now from the team? Trade marketing, is it a very well-known concept in Nepal? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Is trade marketing a very known name in Nepal? Trade marketing and distribution. Is it a very well-known term in Nepal? Can any salespeople tell me? Hello?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir. You can go on with.
I am asking a question.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the term trade marketing and distribution?
Okay, this is the question is for the audience, right, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Trade marketing and distribution. Can anybody tell me that? Yes.
So yes, it is used. Yeah. So Mohan sir is saying yes. We knew.
Because the reason I am telling you is when you talk about post-COVID challenges, when you talk about FMCG challenges, if we do not know how to manage our retail universe, if we do not know how to classify our customers, I mean trade, if we don't know how to prioritize their performance to make them our most, to make ourselves their most preferred supplier, trade marketing is a must. If you do not have that, please get in place trade marketing as the fastest possible time. At the fastest possible, I can help you. If you want, I can help you. Anyway, maximum low cost, high impact social media and in-store presence. When you talk about marketing, people start talking about promotion, which I hate very much. Why you talk about promotion? I want communication, not promotion. Communication has to be done in the outlet. Your in-store excellence will attract the customer, and that is the final moment, the moment of truth, when you can truly sell your product to the customer. So unless you are working very hard with the trade people in the marketplace, alongside the consumer marketing department, you don't make any impact in the marketplace. Then, ignite resilience in sales force using challenge as an irresistible motivator. Incentivize sales force and the trade, creating crisis-tailored reward system. I have been very, very successful, I can tell you. I have given them incentive. I have celebrated even little performance milestones and could make sure that next time I come up with a very big win. Any small win, if you celebrate, it is going to give you a bigger win. Of course, create customer delight by improving product, sales, and service experiences. Doesn't matter whether you are doing e-commerce or you are selling physical sales. You must improve these three experiences: product experience, sales experience, and service experiences. I can tell you that there are a lot of things that you need to learn. I'm sure Nepal is doing it. If you want from my side, I can help you also, because there are organized training for that. And every bit of step that you take in front of a sales in a retail outlet, you have to learn how to take that step. Ensure field force training in all selective suggested areas, online and offline. So these are basically the roadmap for virtuous cycle for the transition. Now, I talk about two trade-offs. I am sure you understand trade-off. Trade-off is you have to take one and leave out the other. If you want to get both, you will not get it. Either you take it or leave it. There are two things. Here, when this COVID came, revenue generation stopped. Cost cutting started. Retracement started. People were, looking blank. They don't know what to do. It is not about only safety. It is also about job security. So who is addressing this problem? The reason is this is a senseless approach to the market, the opportunities in the marketplace. Because you have taken the wrong trade-off. Why are you slashing people? Why are you not getting the opportunity in your favor? Why are you not selling enough? And keep these people. Because you need to sell. You cannot get them out of your organization. That was a foolish thing that most of the organization did. Then, this is not cost cutting. Actually, you are increasing cost when you are not selling enough and keeping a little bit of people, whatever you keep it. That is quite a huge burden on your head. So you should be able to sell at any given circumstances. That is my recommendation for you. Now, trade-off. Yes, there are two truths. One is assumed truth versus historical truth. Assumed truth is this COVID-19 is a doomsday. Even though, the global economy will rebound eventually. Also, not to flow with the stream. Rather be an upstreamer like a salmon fish. Only dead fish flow with the stream. We are not dead. Salespeople are not dead. They are tigers. They can do a lot of things, Why are you sending them back home? Maintain the safety measures and everything, but make sure they're earning enough, they're selling enough. You cannot just leave the field. You cannot give any walkabout to anybody. Now, the bottom line is, please don't react, rather respond. In most cases, we react. I have seen this reaction thing has taken on a classic proportion during the COVID-19. It was all stupid. For me, it was all stupid. We went for the classic reaction for everything that we did. We didn't think much. Engage immediately with the sales team, giving full support, backed by in-person explanation of the value of challenge. I have done it. I have moved around in the market. I have given in-person explanation. I have patted their back. I have told them that you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You are the only person who can do it. Please do. Do a bit of deep thinking with the creative instinct of an invincible strategist. You must be able to know where the twist lies. Like I would say, American Hollywood director. He knows how to bring in the twist to create that enthusiasm. He knows how to bring that twist to create some momentum, some happiness, some thrill. So you have to be able to be an invincible strategist, wonderful strategist who know how to play, how to get the whole thing orchestrated to the tune of the team. You have to be able to do that. Keep the sales at the center of entire organization's heart so that your team can win even when the crisis is at its peak. Let the MDCO part of the team. MDCO just cannot wash their hands. It is a common goal. Everybody must share. This is something that is going to affect everybody within the organization, including the country. So just look at the dimensional part of it. It is a huge, huge challenge and need to be equally accepted by all and sundry. Inject a dose of madness in your team through inspiring communications, but make sure your madness has an equally effective method. Don't be just mad. Your madness must have an equally effective method because it is coming out of a very clear vein. You know you are a winner, you are an eagle. How to win, you know it very well. So when you apply all these techniques, make sure that it is understandable not only by you, but also the team across, so that they can really respond to the kind of call that you are, clarion call that you are giving them. Learning outcome. Learning outcome here is sales professional must learn this not only to elevate their sales knowledge, also complete their business learning loop. If you just end only at the sales, you are just halfway through. You have not finished your task. Because at the end of the day, the organization must earn some business. The business thinking must pervade throughout the organization. Sales is just a means. This is not the end. Those who want to grow in career, learn business through sales. That is the gateway. Don't ignore sales. Sales is the gateway through which you can learn your business. Sales professional must show above average growth and take not only sales, but the entire business to the next level. So you have to go for that wider thinking, horizontal thinking, not just limiting it to a particular focus or spot. Create a unique competitive advantage for the organization through sales and marketing joint platform operations in the field. I have seen marketing people are washing their hands, sitting in the corners of the building. They are not coming to the help of their trade marketing guys in the field. What they are doing actually. They need to be driven out of that organization. Go and help your sales guys in the field and give them enough support so that they can eventually sell the product to the customer. When you talk about competitive advantage, you talk about strategy. When you talk about long term, you talk about strategy. When you talk about winning, you talk about strategy. Unless you have strategic in your thinking, you cannot do all this. Involve the entire organization with them in terms of value chain and value system creation. I don't know how many of you understand value chain and value system. Like an organization has got many, many functions. If you ask them, what are you doing? Well, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. So what? At the end of the day, for whom you are doing all this? They cannot answer. They cannot give any answer why they are doing this. Because you have to do it for the customer. For the person who is buying your product, your managing director reports to the customer. Your managing director reports to the customer. Why can't you work for the customer? And when you work across your functions within a factory compound or an organization, you must create that value chain. That value chain must not get broken at any part. And when you talk about your customers, your suppliers, your dealers, they are all part of the value system. So this value chain and value system must come together so that at the end of the day, it is a winning model for you. This value chain, unless people understand value chain, they cannot be successful business, but I can bet on that. Now, when I ask any marketing people or sales people, I ask, are you customer oriented? But yes, 100%. I'm 100% customer oriented. What are you doing then? Oh, yes, we just think very positive about our customer. Wonderful. What else you do? Oh, nothing else. You call it customer oriented? They are customer oriented, maybe, I don't know. But they are not customer organized. It is easy to be a customer oriented, but far, far difficult to be customer organized. To be organized, you have to work very, very hard. It's not so simple. At the end of the day, you have to enhance these three experiences that I have just mentioned: sales experience, product experience, service experience, whether it is e-commerce or physical or whatever. These integrated customer experiences must be put in one capsule and should create only one little thing, that is delight. If your customer is not delighted, you are lost. You cannot win the war. Now, you need to differentiate. This is also part of strategy also. Whether in a particular segment you cannot win everywhere, whether you want to be different from the crowd, are you me too, or me better, or me only? Depending on your strategic need and your own core capabilities, you decide where you want to be in a particular segment. But have a clear-headed approach to this issue of me too, me better, me only. Now, I give you the domain specific factor that has happened actually. P2C, shops, offices, and factories shut to interruptions, cancellations, and delays in sales, distribution, delivery, shipment, work from everywhere it has happened the same. The challenge is keep sales revenue up and running where possible, retain sales force motivation, ensure seamless value chain support involving all functions, breakthrough strategy required. E-commerce is an option, but not adequate, too much overwhelming for a sales professional. Solution: CEO level leadership must to configure ways and means. Communications reward system needs to get pumped up. Trade and suppliers need to be part of the support and value system. Digital tracking needs to be in place. But I caution you, please don't chase digital tracking. When you do this, if someone comes to know that you are being tracked, he will lose his motivation. Rather, go for some kind of in-person communication. Make them motivated, inspired, so that they give their 100%. B2B, this domain is affected minimum. Keep sales revenue up and running. Retain sales force motivation. Creative breakthrough strategy required. Focus on segment approach and maximize sales. Keep the sales long-term in view, keeping the customer a friend, an associate, or a partner in a non-legal sense. That is the gradual hierarchical upliftment you need for a customer. You have to make me a friend first, then associate, and then a partner. B2G, I have mentioned already, they are the least affected. So if you have the connection with you, you can do your business at the best possible way. I have done it during this period. Now, capital machinery, yes, this has suffered a lot. I have seen. I have not got the right people to do the installation of machines and also raw materials. One big issue was the freight factor, 6 to 7-fold. It has increased. It has enhanced the cost of business. That is a pain. Now you have to sell enough to make sure that actually you are covering up your additional expenses. Financial services, I have already mentioned that continual work stoppages to semi-stoppages seen, shortened banking hours has only served to make the customer queue longer and longer. Customer sufferings left to God, none to care for the customers. With half controlled by bank authority and other half by the central government, seems these financial institutions have lost their ways amid confusion and duality. Since their operational environments are safe, such office closures, shortened work hours have helped Corona to spread even further. Keep the economy up and running solution. Keep pain of individual customers as less as possible. Opportunity for compensating activities by having longer open hours to balance out the national economy. Bank CEOs must get actively engaged with the central government to negotiate best possible services by even the extending work hours to avoid rush service seekers, not becoming a case of double blow. Tourism and manpower, already Nepal has suffered a lot. Bangladesh people have already started living for abroad. So I'm sure same thing is happening in your country. Your government is also taking some steps to give them some work and all. But I would suggest When you get this kind of time, please use the time for skilling, upskilling, reskilling. That is something that is a missed opportunity. Many people have done it. Now, general guidelines, I would say, general guidelines is it's critical to engage fast and often with marketing, sales, pricing, and service teams, and finding ways to keep everyone focused on the job. Stabilizing the teams, processes, and pipelines, actions demonstrate commitment. So leaders must demonstrate or respond to the immediate needs of the sales organization beyond health and safety. That involves communicating constantly, supporting employees, especially caregivers and at-risk employees. The setting up multiple virtual communication points where necessary, creating a dashboard that tracks sales, risks, supply chain issues, customer challenges, HR problems, and safety concerns on a daily basis. Coordinated customer focused response is very important. The good, bad, and ugly I have already mentioned. In Bangladesh, a lot of scams have happened with e-commerce. I know you are very keen to go for this, but be careful. Not that in every you can do it everywhere. There is a lot of risk. Better you concentrate on the physical sales. Then I can talk about something about the future as something that is coming more to me as a sense. Previously, we used to make and sell. Now, please, sales and response. It is strategy based. Sales only environment, now sales, trade, and merchandising based environment. It's not only sales only environment. Because you want to be the most preferred supplier to the trade. Consumer centricity, both consumer and customer centricity. Previously, we used to talk about only consumer. No, if you are in FMCG, you have to think about the customer also, the trade, which is equally important. Because you cannot meet millions of customers at a time. You have to go through somebody else. Doing promotion, doing BTL, below the line, in-store execution, communication, strong social media presence. Vertical integration, both vertical and virtual. Don't stop anything. Single channel selling to multi-channel selling, not just one channel. Market share to segment share. Sell everywhere to sell to targeted outlets. Account 40% outlets should give you 90% sales. Don't go for fishing where there are no fishes. You should not be fishing there where there are no fishes. So you should be going for those customers, who will give you 40% customers, will give you 90% sales. Exploiting distributors, that was a historical thing that we did it over our dealers. They came as a middleman. They are no more middlemen. They are our partner. We have to treat these distributors or dealers as our partners. And then transaction selling to relationship selling. Relationship, we don't close any sales. We open an account. We open a relationship. So relationship will be the key, whether you are in technology or not non-technology, doesn't matter. Relationship will remain the key. The human side will come out stronger, much stronger than anything else in the book. Now, there are some shifts in the consumer marketing environment also. ATL centered around consumers and BTL centered around trade marketing. Separated communication to integrated communication. Merchandising new focus. Jointly work with trade marketing team at the ground level. And prioritize quality sales to priority trade-based customer on classification. You must be able to classify. There are 7 classifications of customers. You have to do it properly, because based on this, your response will depend. Product-centric selling to customer-centric selling. Accept distribution, convenience, innovation, and delight as the new customer expectations. Forget those age-old expectations. These are the new expectations. Sales department selling to whole company, doing the sales instead. Now, sales wisdom during the post-COVID, work backwards from the customer end. Don't start working from your own company. Start from the customer end, because the customer knows actually what he or she wants. Know your customer's real challenge. Don't take a very fake view of the business or a very superficial view of the need. Get the real challenge, real need of the customer. Sell value, not features and price. Emphasize selling of drive brands, not managed brands. Ordinary brands, forget it. Sell drive brands which gives you more money, which gives you more strategic advantage. That you should be selling. Understand customer concept. Like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, when they sell for a particular customer, they sell 1200 US dollars all their life. So you have to calculate the total price the customer is going to pay all his life. This is $1,200 for Coca-Cola. What about your product? Then emphasize selling of drive brands, not managed brands. Understand customer concept I have mentioned already. Relationship of for life cycle value, whether rain or sunshine doesn't matter. Fish where the fishes are. Ensure accountability of each salesperson with progression of productivity every month to quarterly higher target in view. Special skill and networking sets for salesperson. Try to be the most পরে কথা বলো। Special skill and networking sets for salespersons. Try to be the most preferred supplier to desired customers. Be a relationship champion. Maintain multiple contact. These are the wisdom. Owl represents I think in Hindu religion, owl plays a big role. This is about the wisdom that I have, at least for you, coming from Bangladesh, representing through the owl. Anyway, now I'm almost at the end of my year. Now I'm going to recommend you some training. This is modern art of professional sales training. I don't know the current level of training in Nepal. Then you have got corporate sales management, that is B2B. This is a fairly organized training from my side as well. Then trade marketing and distribution is a must for FMCG. And then strategic sales management. It's not for everybody. This is for the higher end people. It is also for the CEO level people, because the CEO has to sell also. So strategic sales management. And then this is a top two training for both COVID and post-COVID periods to elevate sales professionals to be the market challengers. That is the future that I have in mind. So I would like to now thank you all for your time. I think I have taken almost an hour. So if you have got at least few questions, you can throw it at me. I have only 5 minutes left.
Okay, thank you so much, KM Ali sir. So we have someone who raised hand from the audience. He's Pravesh Acharya. He's senior sales executive from Gorkha Brewery. So he raised hand. I think he wants to ask you some question. So I would like to request Aman sir to bring him on stage. Aman sir.
Can I get the question, please?
Praveshji, are you listening to us? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, you can please ask your question to Mr. KM Ali. Praveshji, can you hear us? Are you there, Praveshji?
I think
he has some connection problem. I think we should go for other questions.
I would love to answer your question, please.
Okay, Pravesh is not on the stage, sir. So I think he has some connection problem. So okay, so here is a question for you, sir. So, sir, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Got it. I've got it already. Thank you. Very interesting question. I must congratulate the person who has asked me this question. Congratulations. Because unless you learn to want to learn, I cannot tell you anything. I must know what you want to learn. When you talk about trade marketing, yes, this is not a rocket science. This is not a rocket science. Trade marketing is the objective of trade marketing is make the make your company to the trade as the most preferred supplier. There are many suppliers in the marketplace, but you want to be the most preferred to the customer. I mean, the shopkeeper. So if you have the right customer in front of you who is buying a lot of products for your company, and you know the art how to sell, then there is an organized training for trade marketing and distribution. There are quite a few terms and terminologies that you can learn because you are all educated people. There's nothing can really stop you. But before you do that, you must learn the fundamentals of sales first. Unless you know the fundamentals of sales, then you will be graduating without even passing the middle term examination. You have to go through the process. Once you go through that, I can tell you this is going to be your career capital. If you know how trade marketing works, this is going to be your career capital as a salesperson. It is very much possible. I can help you.
Thank you so much, Kiam Alisa. So we have one more question for you. So this is the question. It is very difficult to promote pharma products virtually. Do you have any idea regarding promotion and marketing strategies, sir? This is from Ghanashyam Pakril. He's a deputy sales manager.
Arti, could you please talk about it again, once again, please?
Okay.
The question.
It is very difficult to promote pharma products virtually. Do you have any idea regarding promotion and marketing strategies, sir? So this was the question from Ghanashyam Pakril.
What kind of product? What product you are saying?
Pharma products, sir.
Farmer product.
Yes, sir.
Agro, is it?
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy. Yeah, I have done consultancy for that as well. Yes. You see, this is something you cannot push. Pharmacy is not something that you can really push. You have to be able to, again, I can come back to the same thing that I started with. If you are proposing something, you must be able to give an explanation for that. Unless a product is explained to a doctor, how can you sell it? You can do it OTC based, over the drug, over the dispenser, you can sell it OTC. But if you want prescriptions, you have to work at a lot of hard work. You have to be with the doctor and give them the unique advantage of your product. So promotion, I would say it is more about communication. It's more about talking about the benefits of your product to your doctors. Only then you can sell it as a matter of prescription. Otherwise, you can create some kind of self-diagnosed medicine selling that I see in Bangladesh. I'm sure same thing is happening in Nepal, which is not allowed in America. You are selling from the these OTC drugs. You should not be able to do that. But you can do to an extent only. But you do not create any mark for you in the marketplace, because you become another A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. So you have to be seen to be able to provide a solution to a particular problem, talk to the customer, explain it, only then you can get it. I would say it is not about promotion, it is more about communication. Yes, promotion you can do by giving some benefits to the doctors, which they like very much, which is pretty unethical, I know, but many people do it. I would not recommend that, but still, it can happen. It happens.
Thank you so much, Kiam Ali sir. So we have last question. So this is the question for you. It is from Rupendra Pokrilji. So lots of people are looking for price and features more than the value and services. on this context, what will be the strategies to make the sense? So this was the question for you, sir.
Pricing, you see that there are two things about pricing. One is selling through price, another is price selling. Very different propositions. When you say I am selling through price, I ask you, give me $1. You say, no, 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 20 cents less. Then actually you are selling through price. But when I say this is $1 and the price doesn't change, it is $1, you have to pay $1 because I give you the value. It all depends how you look at it. If you are so confident, no, it is worth $1 and I must not settle for something which will actually do some damage to my product, and I cannot compromise with the quality of my product. It is going to serve my purpose, your purpose at the end of the day. So why not pay it? So price selling is a very difficult task. That is not easy. But our sales guys must learn how to sell value, not just price. This is an age-old habit, traditional habit they must get out of.
Thank you so much, KM Salisa. So we have one more question. So it is from Vikas G. So what is the best-selling technique for FMCG product?
You see, there are quite a lot of combination. I have given it my presentation. You can give it to them this as a matter of circulation. One thing is FMCG, you have to have the right product. You have to have the right packaging. I can give you just one example. I have done miracle in my life, I can tell you. Just listen, please. One product I found it in quite a few cases, of course, was selling, say, 14,000 cartons per month for particular biscuit. That biscuit was a family pack selling at, say, 40 taka, Bangladesh currency taka, 40 taka per family pack. What I saw is that over a period of 7 to 8 years, this figure is static, it's not moving. Then I asked my marketing guys and trade marketing guys, what is the issue with this product? Tell me. I will like, we don't know what is the issue. Is it the price issue? Is it the packaging issue? Is it the distribution issue? Is it the salesperson issue? What is the issue? Tell me why it is not moving. Why it is as fixed as the sun. The sun is fixed. The sun doesn't move. Then I was looking for my answers. Then I sat back in my cozy corner, CEO's room. I examined the product layer by layer. I tested it. I found it fantastic, but still not selling. Then I could find the answer. The reason is I am not giving convenience to my customer. If I could sell it 10 taka per piece, per packet, small pack, probably I can sell a lot. But when I sell 40 taka per family pack, people don't have the money, they cannot buy. What happened is, in 1 year's time, that product sold. I changed the pack design, of course. 10 times, 140,000 from 14,000. Just see magic, how I have done the magic. In case of milk powder also, it was used to sell only 12 ton. I tested the product, it was no good. I went for blind test. I found it also not good. Then I asked the manufacturing department, you fix your quality first. Then he fixed his quality. Then I fixed my packaging. Then I fixed my design. Then I sizes and all, and then pricing. And now it is selling 700 tons instead of 12 tons. Can you see the magic, please? Unless you are doing some treatment of the product, unless you are trying to understand the customer's mind, unless you are catering to the needs of the unarticulate thoughts of your customers, you cannot solve the riddle. You cannot solve the problem. You cannot sell the product.
Thank you so much, KM Alisa. So we have one more question. So what would be the best selling and marketing strategy for increasing deposit in the banks?
You see, this is something, as I said, I'm not very comfortable, Arzi, because there are two players here. The government is a player, bankers are player, both are equally ineffective. Sorry for my language, because you have to have some benchmarking. That has not happened in Bangladesh. What has happened is they were reducing the interest rates every day, coming down to 2-3% only. People lost their hope, whatever little savings they have in hand, to send it to the bank. Then government came up a brilliant idea which I liked. They said, how do you measure your interest rates, lending rates, buying rates? Then it came that the inflation, the annual inflation should be the standard for you. If it is 5%, your interest rate cannot be less than 5%. You have to apply some kind of benchmark. Otherwise, you cannot do it on your own. Whatever you like, robbing the customer of the little money that they have. How can you do that? You have to have very clear view about how much return you are giving to them. At least, without having anything, at least they will get 0.5%, 2%, 3%, whatever. At least, during this time when the rates are so down and depressed. You have to, all parties must come together to work out a winning formula for everybody. You cannot go on cheating some customers forever and do the business. No financial organization can survive. Not only for banks, but also NBFIs, non-banking financial institutions. This insurance company, they did yet another blunder. They did not take the opportunity of insuring people when deaths are so high all around. Why they were sitting idle, I don't know. They should have done something. They have not done either. This is something I feel aggrieved that they have not done their part.
Okay, thank you so much, Kiam Ali sir. So we have one more question for you. So what is role price to sell product to competition market?
Sorry, Arati, again you have to repeat.
What is role of price to sell product to competition market?
It is highly relative. Highly relative, it is rather more a combination of things that you are talking about. It's not only price. What is the perception of the customer about the product? How you have molded the perception. It can be a matter of history. It could be a matter of communication, promotion, whatever. But whatever you do, at the end of the day, you must be able to sustain your value. You must be able to give a solution to the customer's worrying problems. If you are not doing it, doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to last. It is a relative thing. You have to judge on the merits of your offer and also competition. Competition, how they perceive it. And don't forget another thing I must tell you. Like if you buy a product from Japan, you do not ask which company has made it from Japan. If you are so happy, made in Japan, so happy. But if I say made in Nepal or made in Bangladesh, then they're going to ask you another question. Which company? They will not go by the country name because whole of Japan is branded. As they don't go for any kind of bad things. Their character is such. Because today's customers, they want you to see your character first before they buy their product. Make sure that you have got a very clean character. Your organization, they stand for the product that they are selling, and they're selling good product. They must stand by their product. Unless you have that character, forget it. Business is not for you.
Thank you so much, sir. So we have one more question. Okay, I'm getting so many questions. So I'll read that question for you. Okay, well, this is from Sandesh RLG. So is what is the reduction total far? The question is the reduction of total market size in Bangladesh because of this COVID-19?
Again, you have to repeat because the sound is not coming clearly.
Okay, shall I read the question again, sir?
Yes, I need.
Okay. Okay. Okay, this is the question from Sandesh Aryalji, and the question is, what is the reduction of total pharma market size in Bangladesh because of this COVID-19?
Well, it depends. I have seen. I cannot give you offhand any particular data now because uh, I have seen quite a lot of companies that have done very good, but in most cases it is not as expected. So I'm not very upbeat about their performance because everybody was looking abroad, looking for abroad some solution to come, not really looking. They are whatever they did is whatever they did, like I also did. They took some precautionary measures, like bought some medicine in advance, only to protect myself from COVID. That's it. Not that people, because they didn't have money in their hand, they were dry actually. They were high and dry, not for money, not enough money in hand. So not that they could buy a lot of medicines and all. Overall, the pharmaceutical companies, yes, is so. I would not say that very good rather.
Thank you so much, KM Sali sir. So I think this is the last question for today. We are not taking any more questions, but I have one more question for you. This is the last question for you, sir. So the question is from Suraj Bhandari ji. The question is it a good idea to mobilize sales promoter for selling the banking products door to door, indoor, in order to increase the deposits? So again, I will read the question for you. Is it a good idea to mobilize sales promoter for selling the banking products door to door in order to increase the deposits? So this is the question for you, sir.
Okay, I tell you one thing. Banks, banks are under the notion that they are doing these changes in the product, they are doing those changes in the product. It is all brilliant. Doesn't matter if you are not selling it. Doesn't matter. Bankers must be able to sell their product. They must not forget that technology. They do this. I can see all banks so engrossed in connecting customers to the technology. They are not interested in selling. You have to be able to sell. You do whatever is necessary, please. You can do. You have to find some innovative ways. There are no fixed routes. In sales, there are no fixed routes. Whatever you have been doing for years and years, probably you have to call it a day and find some newer ways to sell your product. Banks must get out of their own comfort zone and create some new ideas, not just get caught up with technologies. I can see they are so engrossed in technology that they have forgot the rest of the stuff.
So thank you so much, KM Alisa. So I had mentioned that we are going to take the last question, but again I got the request from the audience to address the question. So are you ready for that, sir?
Yes, I'm very much ready.
So this is from Rajesh G. So he's asking, sir, what should be the future strategies that pharmaceutical marketing should implement so as to cope up with the both growing technology and market uncertainty?
Uh, Pharmaceutical companies, I have done some quite a bit of consultancy. Pharmaceutical companies, they have their own share of problems. I have seen the way they do is not very sound either. Sometimes they go for promotion, they sell, they keep the stock at the warehouse and say that I have sold enough. Actually, they have not. They are just piling up their products in the druggist's office or warehouse and eventually bringing them out as not fit for consumption. Not a very good practice, because the only thing that I said is pharmaceutical is something like an FMCG. You have to sell through trade. Pharmaceutical is also you have to sell through doctors. If you know there has to be some proportion or percentage like 60-70% should be through doctors, or 20-30% should be the OTC. But I have seen for companies who just come as a new organization, they choose the easiest option, I think OTC. They don't go for prescription, because prescription means a lot of expenditure as well. It means a lot of people. It requires a lot of traveling expenses, motivation, bonus, everything, lots of things. So this hard work, hard way, they don't want to go. They take the easy route, and eventually they just move out of the market. There is no such easy route for pharmaceutical companies. In Bangladesh, I have seen, like Square pharmaceutical companies, the owner himself, the way he struggled at the start of his career, Samson Chaudhary, my goodness, now it is 6-7,000 crore taka company. It's a huge company. So they have built it over time, bit by bit, doing a lot of hard work and doing always the right work. It's no here and there, this thing, that thing, they didn't do it. They didn't do anything funny. Whatever was considered right, they just followed in the footsteps. This is a hard way. Pharmaceutical, you are dealing with the health of the people. You cannot play foul with the health of the people. You cannot do that. You have no right, no moral right to do that.
Thank you so much, Kiran Ali sir. So I didn't want you to take questions, but
Still coming?
yes, it's coming, and I think this is the last question for today. So I'm not going to take any more questions, but this is the question from Karna Bohra, and the question goes: what can be the best strategy to win market share?
Market share, huh? Market share is very flat, open-ended ask. You can only go for enhancing segment share. Market share is a huge thing that you are talking about. Depending on strategic position of your company, your organizational development level, development horizon, where are you now? Are you still at the foothill or at the mountain top? If you are at the mountain top, you have done it. But if you are at the foothill or a molehill, you have to travel a lot of distances. It depends how you take it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the session. It was really very inspiring, motivating, and thank you for answering all the questions from the audience. So I have to end this session over here. Thank you so much, sir. So we are heading towards the second session. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all. So, thank you all. Goodbye.